Hello, my friends, and welcome back to New Dalancia, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign. After a night of uneasy sleep, the party awoke in a strange place. A vast and unknown city lay before them, a city beneath a floating metropolis. The friends learned that they had somehow been transported hundreds of years into the future, where a magical disease originating from their very expedition caravan had destroyed most of the population of Suic and much of neighboring Godbury. These events would lead to a great war called the Cleansing, in which all magic users in Feyborn were eradicated. Trying to find their way to the upper city of Murhold, the party sought the counsel of Ranlin, a magic shop keeper, who implied that he secretly withheld knowledge of why the friends were brought to the future. He accosted the party, and in his dying breath uttered a curse that he would be born again as a Drider, and that the lady would have her vengeance. The group coerced information from a local criminal, but before they could make their way to Upper Murhold, they were brought instead to the Underdark by a drow named Revelor, where they were sent to Upper Murhold by a drow priestess named Reyna. She instructed them to speak with a high elf named Evelyn, an expert on the flows of time, who informed the party that they were not only in the incorrect time, but also the incorrect plane of existence. The party was brought here through the mirrored planes. In order to stop the events that would bring about the cleansing, they must return to their own time and find and travel through the mirror linking the two planes, and destroy the mirror on the other side. Then return to the physical plane once again using another mirror, destroying the exit in the material plane and restoring balance to both worlds. Mirrors often owned by the same person, an important figure in history, often linked to the same plane. The party was sent back to their own time by Evelyn's magic. All right, guys.
I was gonna say, wasn't it sort of in your description thing? Wasn't it sort of implied by Ranlin that the group's part travel was by mistake?
So we thought. But
Anyway,
yeah, I'm not sure.
but yeah, I definitely say Creeper is definitely a good description for him.
Yeah, Creeper was pretty good description.
It sounds like so much fun when you sum it up in a paragraph.
I tried.
It was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. All right, guys. We're still waiting on Tess to get back. But, yeah, I guess let's just move on. You were completely engulfed in darkness. You try to move, but are unable, almost as though you're paralyzed. Try as you might, you find yourself unable to take any action at all. You attempt to call out for your companions, but your vocal cords simply do not respond. The air around you becomes increasingly cold and humid, but you cannot shiver. You draw a deep breath and suddenly you feel the wind pass over you. From deep within burns a warmth that starts to break your paralysis. Slowly, you open your eyes. You're laid out under a cloth canopy, with the familiar clopping of horseshoes against a dirt road. A young dwarf leans over Ahara and cries out, "They're awake! The adventurers are finally awakening!" The clopping comes to a halt. What's that?
I was gonna say, I swear, I thought you were gonna say, "Hey there, traveler, you're finally awake."
You're finally awake. The clopping comes to a halt, and there is shouting. As you attempt to sit up, your body feels stiff, as though you have awakened from a years-long sleep. You're covered in sweat, and your armor and you're covered in sweat, and your armor and you're covered in sweat, and each of you are laid out, stripped to your small clothes, and gradually the scent of burning herbs and incense fills your nostrils, calming your frayed nerves. Everyone hears the clanking of armor as Antarius climbs into the back of the cart. Friends, you're awake.
Ah, well, yeah.
Are you all right then?
I'm not sure. What day is it?
Well, the last we saw you was around 4 days ago. 5 days ago? 5 days ago. Just, we all thought you had left. Well, there's so much to tell. So, okay, let me get a hold of myself. I'm a bit excited, you see. I'm so glad that you're okay. Okay, where to start? Well, around 5 days ago, we had all awoke at camp, and the wagon was gone. We figured that you all had taken off in the night, but I figured you would have said something to me. But we continued on, as we should have, as honor dictates, and found your wagon 3 days ahead. But all of you unconscious in the back. No one could explain it, but everyone was running a fever, and so we called in some support from Bunavar. They sent healers, the dwarves that you see around you now, and here we are. After 2 more days of travel and all of this hard work by the healers, that you've come to. Are you okay?
I'm feeling all right so far. Is there anything has anything changed in the caravan?
What do you mean by this?
We were in a very different place. At this point, I'm probably going to look around me and at the other people, probably not quite sure whether or not I was awake that whole time. And so I'm going to kind of look for confirmation. Did anyone else? Were you there with me?
Are you looking for like the other party, the other rest of your party? Is what you're saying?
Just kind of looking around the other people in the back of the wagon.
I remember a vast city. Murhold, was it?
So it couldn't have been just a dream.
I am confused.
Antarius, as far as I was led to believe in the last few days, we were somehow transported into the future. Is anyone else sick?
Sick?
There was a plague that ruined the caravan. Is anyone come down with anything but us?
His surprised face turns into a grimace. A plague? His eyes shift toward the ground. No, no one's been sick. What are you talking about? At this point, you see Kimrim and Govin, and they sort of circle around to the back of the wagon. They have not entered the wagon yet, but they are standing there. You see them kind of whisper among themselves.
We found ourselves in a different place. I remember being in a very different city with very different weaponry and different places and a whole history that suggested we were hundreds of years into the future.
And grand ships that sailed through the air. Antarius kind of, his eyes shift one more time. It's interesting to me that you all could have had the same hallucination.
I don't remember who had someone. Do you have the weapons we found from that time? Did anyone bring them back with us?
I could have sworn either myself or Valphalin, we each had these tube-like weapons.
Valphalin reaches into his cloak and he pulls out a strange metallic sphere. Anybody who was carrying these weapons, they have all become these like metallic masses, you find. As though they melted.
That does not look very useful.
Also makes things interesting, especially for ammunition and whatnot, but
yeah, even the ammunition is like degraded. Completely useless.
Well, you have something that looks, even if we hallucinated, we at least somehow picked up these objects that we thought were something else.
At this point, there is a mage clad in red, and his figure very gaunt. Is that the word I'm looking for? He's kind of thin and scraggly, and he's
gaunt
got
would
these.
sort of be like very sort of sickly thin almost.
Yes, correct. So he's kind of gaunt, and he has a hood draped over his head, and he's pushing his weight into this staff as he hoists himself up onto the back of the back of the cart and says, "So, you're awake."
And I don't recognize this person at all.
Nope. And he says,
who might you be?
I am called Healthius. I was sent here along with the healers from Bunavar. Might I see the trinket? And he stretches out a almost skeletal hand and reaches toward Valphalin, who then places the orb of metal into his hand and pulls it up to his face and examines it carefully. Yes, I can detect. There is magic about this. And there are tendrils, though I've not seen this sort of magic before. Tell me, where did you say that you were?
They called it Merhold. There was a city in a valley, a great city, and there was another city floating above in the air.
He thinks for a moment before he speaks up once more. This sounds like interplanar travel. But what might have prompted it? Yes, I will have to think on this further. No more questions, please. And he proceeds to turn around with a flare of his cape and hops down from the back of the wagon, muttering to himself the entire way. How rude.
Does anyone else feel like he should have had more questions for us?
Yes, I definitely would have myself, Ahara.
I mean, I would suppose that there is much skepticism about much of ourselves, but I figure the first thing that would have been done would be to detect magic on us and determine what kind of schools of magic would have been involved.
From outside the canopy of the wagon, I can hear you, you know.
Yes, we're very well aware.
I have everything that I need right here in my hand.
Rude.
Yes, definitely not the personable type.
I'm after the suggestive detect magic. I'm wondering if I should do a detect magic ritualistically, as it were.
On any of the, on one of the objects, you mean?
Yeah, like see if I can see any of the thing. I guess it's just a like 30-foot thing, like a sphere or whatever.
So you focus on one of these artifacts that has come back with you, and you notice that they are very tightly wound by what look to be these translucent black tendrils. As you recall, when you were speaking with the high priestess, the high elf priestess, she had mentioned that she could see the tendrils of time about you, and these may be the self same.
Interesting. I'm gonna share that with the rest of the group.
Yes, I recall her speaking of these tendrils of time. Um, the tendrils themselves seem to be actually quite transparent, as though they are growing weaker, as if they are a trace of what they once were. But these artifacts in specific, you happen to know, are out of time themselves. So,
That makes sense. Um,
Govan,
hmm.
the cart kind of rocks as Govan hoists himself up onto the side. Are you all okay then?
Well, we seem to be all in one piece.
So, why did you take off?
The thing is, we woke by ourselves in a different place. None of us ever remember leaving.
I, for one, believe them. Antarius chimes in. Govan, he puts his hands up. He shakes his head. Their loyalty was never in question here. Simply put, I was worried for their safety. We all were. They're the heroes of Bunavar.
I do appreciate your concern. Myself, I'm somewhat confused how we ended up back with you and unconscious, or back where you found us.
Kimrim from outside says, I've been alive a very, very long time, and I've not seen anything like that before. She looks around, quickly glancing over everyone in the party, and then says, if it is all the same to you, we are still on an expedition and are actually about to enter the tundra.
Of course, the Kimrim job.
Yes. I mean, we aren't exactly sure of what's happened to us, but rest assured, we will still maintain our duties and keep you safe.
Thank you. I'm happy that you all are back. Govan hops off of the cart, and once again the cart kind of sways as it lifts from his weight, and you kind of hear everyone gathering their effects, and the cart sets off again.
Something about
Antarius.
mighty heft.
So Antarius is now sitting in the back of the cart with all of you. And he says,
Admirable heft.
Tell me more. Tell me more about this place that you were in, I suppose.
It
It was
was
quite unusual. In fact, one of the major uh, things of note was that a majority of creatures that we consider common were extinct due to
And we saw weapons that we've never seen before.
You weren't here for this part, but all of those weapons that you were carrying have become these masses of metal. So they're like metal orbs. Also, a mage by the name of Healthius has jumped into the back of the cart momentarily, took one of these orbs, and has proceeded to hop out of the cart and inspect it further. He's very rude about it as well.
must deal with a lot of Karens in his profession.
Yeah, Tess never picked up any of those. So when she's explaining, we saw weapons we've never seen before, right? Like you could show them. In Fear, didn't you pick one up?
And yeah, it's
A clump of metal.
It is
yeah, it's a paperweight now. I guess I could throw it to hit at someone, but
and as Ahara has explained as well, he can see that they're very tightly wound by the tendrils of time. So, or these translucent black tendrils, which he assumes to be the tendrils of time that were, as explained by the High Elf priestess.
but getting back to Antares, it seemed that a majority of the creatures around here, the peoples, were wiped away because of some war that was started over a mysterious disease, leaving merely the human and the elf kind, with anyone else being either extinct or too low in numbers to be seen.
Antarius wipes some of the sweat from his brow, and he's just completely he's staring off kind of into the floor, just kind of thinking about all of this. This is a lot to take in. So let me see if I understand you. So there was some disease that swept around the entire world.
Well, not the world, but
In
the
fear,
disease.
if I may, interrupts Valphalin, I'm sorry. We were told that this virus was magical in nature and originated from this very caravan.
This whole area had been wiped out in that place. They had a map of Boonhammer, and it was hundreds of years old. No one had heard of these places except some antiquated librarians.
Whoa, hold on. Are you telling me you went to the future?
So it seemed.
That doesn't seem possible, but I believe you.
The High Elf also told us that we were from a different place, not just a different time. We came from a different plane.
Yes, I believe that they meant a plane of existence as we know them. More about this disease. Do you know where does it come from? How do we contract it? How do we get rid of it?
All that was seemingly a mystery. All we know is it's supposed that it originated during this expedition, and it was centered on specifically targeting this expedition and the peoples around it.
So it was intentional?
It's believed to be the work of someone or something that somehow was sent back to this time.
His
And
face completely turns white, and so someone attacks at some point this caravan, is what you're telling me. and his voice is very he's keeping his voice down at this point so as not to not to like yell this stuff out. He says, look, I don't want anyone to, or I don't want to cause a panic, but we need to let someone know about this.
Well, we are not entirely sure what we're looking for at this point, and all we're aware of is that this caravan which was already sort of a bit hazardous, is much more so now from an external force.
The priestess implicated that we should find a mirror that will take us to a parallel plane of existence. And from the other side, we must destroy the portal back to this plane, the material plane. While in the parallel plane, we then must find another way here.
Yes, she seemed to indicate that the sickness, this plague, had somehow traveled across to move events between planes to change her future, and that somehow the plague was linked to it, but we don't know its source. All we have to go off of is that it must have traveled through the mirror plane.
Well, how... My friend, I can see your concern, but without a doubt, this is something that will happen. It has already been set. However, we have an opportunity with this foreknowledge to stop it. Meaning that somewhere in our travels, we will encounter this mirror, and we will have to do our duty. And that is all. Antarius looks up at Val, and his face flushes, and he nods, and just remains silent. Is there anything else?
We're not sure where to go from here.
I assume that we should continue to move forward. One way or the other, this disease will find us. We just must be aware of what we are looking for. We must not miss a detail.
You're right.
Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but I could use a drink.
I do like to drink.
Where are my personal effects? Oh, they're in the other wagon. Allow me. Antarius gets up and hops off the back of the moving wagon and proceeds to jog over to the one just behind you that is keeping pace with the rest of the caravan. He then comes back in about a few minutes with several sets of fresh clothes, some food, and water, and a pipe, and a keg, and sets them all before you. Friends, I've brought clothing and food. Please.
Tess immediately dips into the alcohol because she's still trying to process everything.
Oh, we actually, so Tess and I would actually have objects that might be relevant. She has the ring, and I had the cloak that we would need to know about.
It's true.
Okay.
So she looks at Antarius, and she's like, actually, one thing did make its way back with me.
Indeed.
This ring here, and she kind of pulls the ring off of her hand and shows it to Antarius, and she's like, it's like a ring of truth. It's something that's supposed to help others divulge information to us. I believe that Ianfear also did you make it back with the cloak, Ianfear?
I'll see if it works or not, and try to use. Let me see if I can. I don't know if it'll link in chat. Probably not.
Well, you're not wearing much at the moment, Ian Fear. I'm not sure where this cloak is.
Maybe it is working and it's invisible.
If you're talking about the cloak that we found on your person, that's in the rear wagon. Do you want me to go fetch it?
I suppose.
Very well. And he once again hops off the back. And at this point, you see a familiar red robe poke a head around the back of the wagon. You said nothing of other artifacts that were brought along with you. Why?
If you'd hung out a minute to ask us more questions, maybe you'd have heard of them.
Oh,
Who is this bloke?
poppycock, I am very busy. Dilly dally shilly. I couldn't
Well,
help.
he
I'm
doesn't seem very
sorry.
friendly. Who is he? I've never noticed him before.
He calls
he's one of-
himself Healthius.
Says he was one of the mages that were brought along from Bunavar.
Yes,
Odd name.
correct.
Well, I don't know. Bunavar is a great name for me, but
Now, if I may see the trinket.
Tess looks at Healthiest and she looks down at her hand real quick. She's not sure.
He once again exposes a very bony hand from his robe. In fact, looking at him, he looks sickly and gaunt and pale.
All right, here you go, old
hang
man.
on.
She hands it over.
I'm
was gonna say-
37. I'm not old.
Oh, that's
Sure
older than
thing
me.
there, Dennis.
So he inspects the ring. Yes, It seems that the magical nature of this artifact has warded off any ill effect by the tendrils of time. Yes, in this investigation, this object is useless to me. You may have it back. And he produces his bony hand once again with the ring just in his palm.
Thanks, Healthiest. She grabs the ring.
As you
Puts it back on.
grab the ring from his hand, you notice that his hand is freaking cold, which is otherworldly to you because it's warm out. It's very hot. You're covered in sweat, in fact.
I don't know. About
Guys, are we sure this isn't death?
Poppycock. And he proceeds to hop back down out of the, sort of hoist himself back down out of the cart.
I thought I was old, but that guy looks like a corpse.
I can still hear you.
we are aware.
That man should eat something.
Before long, Antarius
Hopefully not us.
shows back up with the cloak. I found it. It was buried. Here you
All
are.
right,
And he produces
so-
it.
I guess wrap it around and see if it try to use its ability to turn into something very lightweight, like a silk type or something.
Done. Immediately, Antarius. Whoa, I've not seen such magic. Not since my days at the kingdom with the court wizards. Interesting. And this was brought back with you.
It was, well, I certainly would have shown it off if I had had it beforehand.
Interesting.
This does at least prove that that it wasn't a hallucination, or
Indeed.
that it wasn't some other thing that was tricking us. At least that part of it.
Which also implies that the disease is quite real, as is the mirror.
Yes, I think we should definitely watch out for them. Although, for now, maybe being with the caravan is enough.
From outside the cart, you hear, "Oh!" And all of a sudden, everything stops. All of the horses stop. And you hear shuffling.
Can we see anything that's going on if we kind of sit up and look around?
You can see out the back of the wagon, and the wagon behind you has also come to a stop. The driver has hopped down from the back of the wagon, and he has made his way just off to the port side of your wagon, as if he's walking toward the front of the caravan.
Do we have our equipment or our clothes or anything yet?
All your equipment and clothing are in the rear wagon.
I'm probably gonna want to hop out and go get some things.
Very same. So
Ditto.
Valphalin follows you.
We'll try to see if we can. I'll try to see. I mean, really, I only need.
Tess is gonna stay in her current position. If someone could grab her gear for her, that would be great.
Actually,
Are you asking that out loud?
Yeah. She's like whispering, "Hey, can someone grab my gear? I'm gonna stay here."
I will.
actually thinking
you.
on it, really, I'm only going to need one thing, and then he's going to use sort of his thought to do a return command to bring the knife back into his hand, or one of them.
You sure you want to do that?
Well, maybe I'll say maybe I would say out loud everyone might want to. I don't know. Because last time when I used it, the description that was given was that it disappeared from the body of the person, then it reappeared in my hand.
Is that what happened?
That was when I threw it at the guy when I was floating in midair.
Ah, yes. Okay, then we can do it that way. I was thinking like Thor's hammer; it would like come back to
Yeah.
your hand, just
That's why
like
I
coming
wasn't
through
sure about it.
anything.
That's why I wasn't sure about it, but like I remember that that the description that was given from the fight with the thug was that it disappeared from in him and then reappeared back in my hand.
Very well. You blink, and it's there.
Is Misku with us at the moment?
Misku appears to still be unconscious.
All right.
Takes a lot to wake him up.
That's fair.
Her.
Does anyone else need their
Or-
gear?
Val is coming with you to get his gear.
All right. Well, let's go together.
If
and we'll
Cyrene
just
had
grab
any
everything.
gear, she might need it. She might need it. Not sure.
Very well. So
We will grab the things.
as Ahara, you, Ian Fear, and Val jump out of the wagon, you notice that all four of the carts have come to a stop. Everyone seems to be grabbing gear from the front two carts, and you see people like hoisting packs over their shoulders, and some of the common folk are carrying various tools and utensils. There's a few people that have like big packs on that are full of gear, and there are a couple of the dwarves who are wearing giant flags that bear the symbol of Bunavar and the symbol of House Godbury.
I'll if there's activity and whatnot, I'll stop one of the nearest people available to go. Excuse me, we just got up from our adventure. What's going on?
He begins to talk, but is interrupted by Kimrim, who says, "Adventurers, yes, this is it. We must set out on foot from here. This is the end of the path. Our wagons can go no further. They will be led to the nearest coach inn, and we will continue on foot from here through the tundra."
Ah,
Tundra?
okay.
Well,
Then
through,
I guess
through the forest, through the tundra. Yeah.
I guess I'll if that's the case, then I'll let Tess know. Hey, you might want to go ahead and come grab your stuff too. It looks like this is going to be the end of the path, and we're going to have to go on foot from here.
Roger that.
Val brings both of you your gear.
Thank you so much, Val. You're a sweetheart.
Don't mention it.
Tess suits up and gets ready for her adventure.
Yeah, I'll slip into my gear.
So, as you guys gear up, Kimrim and Govin come around the back of the wagon and where everyone is currently at. So everyone hears this, and Govin approaches and he says, "We're going to scout ahead a bit and make sure that the way is safe into the forest for the rest of our expedition. Would you mind joining us?"
Not at all.
Certainly.
I'd love to.
Thank you. After a time, everyone is ready, and Kimrim and Govin signal to you. "Let's go. This is the way."
Onward.
So you guys make your way into this very dense forest. All of the trees are these like evergreen kind of trees, like pine trees. And there's snow on the ground. Actually, it's very cold here. Well, it's getting cold, I should say. This is likely snow from the night before. You're quite a bit more north from Bunavar at this point. And you, in the distance over the trees, you can see the mountain, which is your destination. You travel through the forest for some time. And before long, there is a clearing set in the snow. And in the clearing, a large obelisk. Kimrim, Govin, and Smethik begin to study it carefully. On the front of this obelisk, there is a door, and it is made of a polished steel, in which you can see your reflection. There is a plaque just above the door.
What does it say? Can we read it?
It is there.
Oh.
Let me show that on my screen.
Uh,
Can anyone else read it? I feel like I'm having a stroke.
Kimrim. It's dwarvish.
what I'm gonna do is, I'll do my little finger glasses trick routine.
I know Dwarvish.
The first word is exactly what it looks like in common.
Yeah.
However, the rest of it, those of you who do speak and read dwarvish, it, in a nutshell, says chivalry is what is most important. Only a, and this word is roughly translated as gentleman, may enter.
Can
Tess
someone tell
repeats
me?
that. She repeats that.
Ah, well, are any of us gentlemen?
Well, I mean, I'm a male.
Well, Val got me my stuff.
Very well. I shall try to enter. So, he proceeds to walk up to this large steel surface, and you see his reflection, although it is very blurry in this door. He attempts the fixture on the door or the mechanism, and nothing seems to happen. Apparently, it is not one's deeds that allow them entry. He knocks at the door, but nothing seems to happen.
I'm gonna walk over and try it as well.
What are you? Okay, so as you approach this steel door, the steel surface, you notice that your reflection does appear inside it. It is blurry, but you can also make out that the scenery around the figure in the mirror is not the same as the scenery behind you. It looks as though the door actually shows what is beyond it, but your reflection is still there.
There's something about this reflective surface here that is different than I would expect. Do you see it, Val?
Smethic walks over.
Yes, this does appear to be magic. Though it is of a type that I have never seen. I must deliberate with the others.
And he walks over to Kimrim and Govan. Valphalin studies the door very carefully.
Can I put my hand on it and kind of feel if it's warm or cold, or if it feels like I would expect it to?
It does. It feels like cold steel.
All right.
Ahara, roll a perception check, please. You noticed that when Smethic had walked up and was speaking to you, the image of him in the reflection did not seem to also speak. It copied the movements, but he didn't. Like, the mouth didn't move.
Curious. I'm watching my reflection. I'm gonna say, "Hey, Val, look at this."
Didn't speak. The reflection of Val walks forward and imitates the movements of Valphalin behind you as he peers into the steel. What is it? I see nothing. Just my reflection.
Watch your reflection while you talk to me.
Curious. It seems that my reflection is not also speaking. Intriguing. And then there is the case of the inscription. What was it? A gentleman may enter, something of that sort.
Indeed. Perhaps we should let the ladies go first.
Perhaps.
Tess walks up and she makes faces at the mirror.
Your reflection moves forward but does not imitate those faces. So the face remains the same, albeit it's blurry, but you can just make out that the face doesn't change.
What about Talos? He's a good boy. Is his reflection showing?
Yes.
I know there's a stick or a rock or something. Maybe I could kind of toss it at the surface. See if it bounces.
You are able to find a nearby pebble. You throw it into the surface and it bounces right off, as though it hit solid steel. The sound is the same, solid steel. As you do that, the image of you also has picked up something from the floor and done the same, with the same result.
Very creepy. It does everything but match our faces.
Indeed.
Could I use Arcana to determine if this is something I would know as far as magical? uh,
Hmm.
like,
What are you trying to discern exactly?
if this is some kind of like, because it's the blurred face that has me sort of thinking that maybe this is sort of like a magic sort of thing that's basically I want to try to see if I can determine what kind of school of magic that this sounds like.
You overhear Kimrim just now, and she says, "The stonework is definitely Godbury." And Smethix, "I do disagree."
Can I do detect magic on it then?
Yes. That
Well,
one
I
just
don't know, I
works,
could-
right?
Basically, yeah.
There is an aura around this door. It does bear magic. The school of
So-
magic is illusion.
What was I gonna say? So we overheard Kimrim just say something about this definitely looks like the work of Godbury. Let me see if I have the thing on here.
Valphalin.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
one of my backgrounds is with false identity. And what I was wondering is, can I use that to determine it based off the writings I saw in the museum from that Govan was in, if I can determine if this writing would match that same sort of writing from the Godburys?
This actually looks a little bit closer to the script that you had seen inside the when Rollo had led you to that underground tunnel area. Although, let me see. Nope, you wouldn't know that.
So it doesn't look like the writing that would match the same sort of documents that we had seen in Bunavar then.
No,
Okay.
no. This is this is actually more ancient, from what you gleaned from the from that dungeon.
All right. I guess. So looking at that writing, I'll go over to Kimrim and let him know. So I'm not totally certain, but this looks a lot like writing we found in a cave outside of Bunavar.
Yes, ancient dwarven. I've seen it before. But this isn't... these are the types of things that we'll find when our kind of have either tried to bar entry to a place because something is hidden beyond, or something else. Whatever lies beyond this portal, this entryway, must be of great import.
Or possibly of great danger.
But this is definitely something that is built by my people in ancient times. Very interesting. She actually takes the time to she takes a parchment and she takes a rubbing of the inscription. Valphalin, stroking his chin, says, "Only gentlemen may enter."
Well, I mean, is it really gentleman, or just like a translation that sort of translates as gentleman?
Yeah, that's kind of the closest word that... like, it's more of a neutral kind of term, but that's kind of the closest word that you have in common to that word. So most likely, as you picked up the language as a second language, you've come to know that word as gentleman.
It might seem a bit weird. Can I just like look at the stone and or look at the plaque and kind of bow before it and see if it what it does?
Sure. So you walk up, and the plaque is just above the door, so you can clearly see your reflection in there, in the door. You bow, and as you stand from your bow, you notice that your reflection has bowed slightly after you, as if a reaction.
Interesting.
I'm going to AFK for just a moment. I will be right back. Don't touch that dial. And we're back.
Hmm.
Anybody else want to take any actions here?
Tess will approach the mirror and she'll give a curtsy and then slap her hands together in a praying motion and say, "Please, please, will you tell us what you are?"
You, as you curtsy, you notice the exact same thing that I described to Ahara, which is the curtsy from the mirror Tess is slightly delayed, as if in a reaction to you. However, every motion that follows that is one-to-one with it as you do it. Minus
She
the
reaches
speaking.
her hand out to like shake hands with it. Does it also try to reach out to her?
Yes, and your hand stops at the door. It is solid.
Mm.
Apart from kind of the blurred faces, is there anything else that you can see? There's the delay in the blurred face. Is there anything else about the mirror that is different from our world?
The background of the mirror seems to be the inside of a hallway, and it looks like there are stairs just beyond it. Other than that, the images of all of the people that are in the mirror seems to be one-to-one.
If staring into the reflection and walking one way, does the reflection walk up or down the stairs?
If you're walking away from it, you mean?
Yeah, if I choose to walk toward the stairs, will the reflection look like it's walking like up the stairs?
It'll be walking down these stairs. The stairs seem to go down.
So if you keep walking, does the image change like as they progress down the stairs?
Yes. It seems that they travel down these stairs in the same direction you're walking. Of course, by the time the image is that far away, it's very blurry.
Mm.
Friends, I believe that this has to do with the inscription. I can't put my finger on what.
It said, "A gentleman may enter." So it seems to suggest that there is something to enter.
Yes, it says chivalry is what's most important. Only a gentleman may enter.
What if one of us tries to open the door or grab the door handle while Tess attempts to walk through?
Worth a try. Valphalin takes the mechanism on the door and proceeds to await you. His image seems to do the same.
This time Tess starts walking up the stairs instead of down. Does the image still get blurry?
It comes into focus as it comes toward the door. So basically, you're looking through this door, and these stairs are just beyond it that go down into the darkness.
But the image becomes blurry as you go down the stairs?
As it goes down the stairs, the image becomes blurry and more obscured until it is consumed by darkness.
What if we keep walking?
Down like walking away from it,
Yeah.
it vanishes.
And the same happens if you walk up the stairs?
So if you come back up the stairs, it's walking toward the door. So it stops at the door.
So like a mirror.
So what if I act like I opened the door?
So if you like feign opening the door,
Yeah.
the image copies you.
The door doesn't open?
The
Try
door does
opening
not
the door.
open. So Val tugs at the door. I'm afraid not. Would anyone else like to try? It won't budge. Perhaps I am not the gentleman I once thought.
Fear, maybe give it a try?
I mean, I certainly haven't been mistaken for a gentleman in a while, but I suppose I could give it a shot.
Well, you definitely swooned some ladies we've seen.
Maybe it means playa.
All right,
Bala, Shakala.
hold on. I will walk up to the door and go, "Oh, gentlest of locks, would you be so kind as to open for us?" I try the door.
Nothing seems to happen.
I'll have to show you that one time. That's hilarious. It's an hilarious thing from a really bad movie.
Hmm.
As long as we're all doing it, I guess I will also try to open the door for Tess.
How will you do this? Can you describe your action, please?
So essentially, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand on the door, but then sort of like from the side, rather than sort of pulling it towards me, I'm going to be like standing to the side, just so that it's clear that I'm opening it and kind of giving like a little bow.
Like an after you kind of thing.
Exactly.
So as you do this, you notice that your reflection suddenly doesn't do that thing, and it puts its hands up and it shakes its head. And then it essentially, looking directly at you, Ahara, waves you inside.
Try the door.
I will try the door.
The door opens.
Nice.
I opened it.
I guess we'll wave to Kimrim and them. We've managed secure entrance.
As soon as you walk through the door, Ahara, it shuts behind you. You see Valphalin from the other side, who then approaches the door, and he says, "After you." And suddenly, the very same voice says, "No, I do insist. After you, sir." And the door opens, and he crosses through, and it shuts behind him.
All right. I will walk up to the door and say, "No, please. I insist."
"Oh no, you must go first, sir. Kind sir. Handsome sir. You must please enter."
And
The
I'll
door
try
opens.
Yay.
Tess walks up and acts like she's tipping her fedora and says, "After you, milady."
"Lady," and the door swings open.
Tess skips through.
And Cyrene is hiding with Tess.
Cyrene, you're stopped by an unknown force.
No. So Cyrene says, "My, don't you look lovely tonight, you young thing?" And then she like does a little bow in the air.
Your reflection does the same thing.
My lady?
From beyond the door, you hear the voice of Valphalin. "You have to offer it to go
you have to
first."
offer.
After
Yeah,
you, milady.
But I'm a fairy, I take. I do not offer, I take. After you?
"No, I do insist. After you." And the door opens.
Nice.
You did it.
Being the last one to enter the door of the party, Talos simply sits in front of the door.
Oh, poor Talos.
And the door opens. For Talos is a good boy.
The goodest of boys.
Kimrim approaches the edge of the glass, and she places her hand, on the steel. She places her hand, and you can see her clearly through there, and says, if you would be so kind, we would like to stay out here and examine more of the structure. Would you please report what you find below?"
Sure.
"Very well. We will wait for you here. Good luck." So, as you turn around, there is a long staircase before you. It is very dark, and Valphalin lights a torch, illuminating the way. Does everyone wish to proceed down the staircase?
Is there any other pathway besides the staircase?
out.
Then we're headed down the staircase.
Onward.
As you guys press down the staircase, you finally come to the end of a hallway where there is a large metal double door. Cobwebs line the corners of this room, and a thick layer of dust covers these ancient walls. That was a funny noise. The floors and walls are all stone, very ancient, but they seem to be man-made. This leaves only the door before you.
Is there any writing on or around the door or the area?
No.
Can I look to see if there's any kind of traps or anything on the door?
Sure. Please roll an investigation.
13.
Your investigation yields that there are no traps attached to this particular door. However, the door fixture, the handle, is a bit rusty. It looks like it could use some force to open.
I will try the handle with much force.
Strength check, please.
Oh no. Oh, it's not that bad.
That's a save. Please roll a check.
Oops. Oh. These sheets are confusing.
That's
So I
okay.
just
It's
click
just
the strength number?
Yeah,
Yeah,
click
just click the strength number.
the word. I think it's the word strength below. Yeah, it's the word strength above the number. There you go. Perfect. So you press down on this door handle, and it barely budges. Oh. Balphalin, allow me. He heaves, and these two doorknobs creak. And you hear a chunk as they shift into place. The doors swing open slowly. One moment, please.
Guess it's true what they say about Dragonborn.
And what is that?
You've got very big muscles.
Oh, I suppose.
I don't actually know if anyone says that.
So as you look through the doorway, you see sort of this very vast chamber. It's very, very dark. But you almost make out a few figures who seem to be completely still.
Does there look to be any places where Valphalin could use his torch to light up like some kind of torch or torch holders?
Not in the current room.
Anything in his, or I guess in my view?
No, not here, no.
Okay.
Valphalin takes a step forward.
I'm gonna walk with him too.
Curious. So there appear to be... Are they statues? Interesting.
I'm gonna step out of the way so more people can come into the room.
So yes, Ahara, you... In the darkness, you see what appear to be statues. One a warrior, facing off against some monster. Both, though, appear to be completely motionless.
I'm gonna tentatively approach them carefully.
In fear, Ahara, you are able to identify the monster as a Medusa. She is staring directly at the statue of what appears to be what was once a knight, who is female knight who is frozen in place, turned to stone.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Everyone, don't look at it.
Valphalin
that-
steps forward. Oh
that
my.
sounded ominous.
I've read of these things. It is a Medusa. Do not look into its face.
I just said that.
He
I thought
called.
Medusa was a gorgon.
Did you call it out, or did you just?
Hmm? Oh, I was announcing.
Oh,
No
okay.
one look at it.
Sorry.
Are they really called? Side note: are they really called Medusas in D&D?
Yes, they are.
Oh
Yeah.
my god,
Yeah.
that's so wrong.
Probably because they didn't really have gorgons, because there's really only been one as far as lore goes, which are Medusa, so they're just called Medusas.
No, but her
But-
actual name was Medusa, though. She herself was a gorgon per the myth, but that's the side point. I was just curious.
Yeah,
But-
it is literally called a Medusa. If you'd like to look it up, you are more than welcome to. You have probably heard about these things before in tales from your parents or the like.
So they probably were just like, yeah, these are Medusas, because that's the most famous one. But
That's like calling all Saiyans Gokus.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree with that.
although I do think with one of the more recent things, because they did like the crossover of D&D and, well, not really crossover, but the Magic the Gathering lore, they added the set Theros, which had a lot of the mythical Greek creatures and stuff. So they might have started introducing gorgons and stuff into that, but that's stuff for later. So anyway,
Okay, Ian Fear, from your perspective, from your vantage point, you are able to see that the knight before you, the statue of the knight, is wielding a mirrored shield. This is
Yep.
pointed directly at the Medusa, who is staring into the shield.
I would tell the others the shield there, from the history reported of Medusas, tells us that would be a valuable object, but I would be loath to disturb it.
Is she
As-
alive, or is she encased in stone while staring into this shield?
But you're asking that out loud, correct?
Not out loud, just like as a general in game. Like, she's staring into this mirrored
Oh,
shield. Is she encased in stone herself, looking into this mirror, or is she
Well,
Get closer and
Okay.
find out.
I think Medusas are immune to their own
in
gaze.
game? Like, asking the DM, is she alive? Like, is she moving?
You can't tell from the other side of this. Oh, she's not moving, but you can't tell if she's stone or not from over here. You're outside
Okay.
the room.
From where I'm standing, does her skin look like it's made of stone, or
Yep.
does it? I'll let Tess know. It looks like her skin is already stone.
Still wouldn't trust it.
I would loathe to walk towards that shield, but if you want, I would recommend walk towards it, maybe crab step to the
Simply
sides.
avert your eyes. We should be okay.
Yeah, Tess is just gonna hold her shield up in between her and the Medusa, and she's just gonna step forward.
Both the female knight on the left and the Medusa on the right are both completely encased in stone.
Best not to move that shield then.
Ahara,
Probably.
you approach a corpse. Also stone. No, it's just a corpse. It's not stone.
Interesting. I'm gonna kind of try and walk around the edges and see if I could spot anything unusual.
From where you are, you can see that there is a door here. Another large double door here. And another door here.
There's a lot of doors, guys.
All the doors shut or are they open?
They're all shut.
I guess Tess tries to unlock the door that's over here.
Locked
Except
tight.
There was a door. Okay.
Yeah, it's right here.
This one's locked.
I'll see if there's any locks on the door up here.
Locked tight.
I'll try the double doors.
Locked tight. There are
Oh, okay.
keyholes on each of the doors.
Yeah, and I can guess where that key is.
Val approaches the statue of the knight. You'd be correct. There is a key around the neck of the young knight. It is stone as well.
Right. We have to take the shield. Maybe if we tip over the Medusa statue and try to break her.
That would require a lot of strength, and I am very
That
thin and sickly.
I would not advise it. It would break her gaze against the mirrored shield.
Perhaps
Don't
we
we
could.
want that so we can get the key?
If she stops looking at herself, she may unpetrify.
If she breaks into pieces, she's not going to be able to recover.
She would have to remain petrified all the way down.
Yeah, he's
Tip
saying.
over the soldier at the same time?
Well, if she's looking at the shield, is the shield standing up in the statue, like the statue standing holding the shield?
Yes, the statue is standing holding the shield, and she is staring directly into the shield. The knight is staring directly at the Medusa.
Can we push it towards her?
The knight?
Well, the shield more than the knight, but like both of them at the same time would be okay with me.
It looks like you might be able to remove the shield, but it would be hard to do so without breaking the Medusa's gaze into it.
Hmm. Does anyone else have another mirror?
Well, I mean, technically speaking, I have a disguise kit. Would not a mirror be something I would need for applying the makeup?
Possibly.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you would have a mirror, a small mirror.
I think I have like a small pocket mirror. We could maybe, if we have some rope,
You
maybe we
hold it
tie
up
the mirror. Yeah,
right in front of
maybe,
her face.
Yeah, like just or tie it directly in. Well, I guess we couldn't really tie it directly into her eyes because it probably
So
wouldn't.
she's a Medusa, so she's probably tall. Is there a chance one of us could probably climb up on her statue being and hold the tiny mirror in front of her face?
It would be very difficult. More importantly, we must find a way to unpetrify this knight and
Does
take
this
the
other
key.
corpse have a shield on it? Because there are other corpses in the room. Are any of their shields like have a mirror to them?
The shield that you see on the floor there is actually made of a like iron. It is not reflective.
Boo.
So the thing that I'm having a hard time understanding is that the shield is reflecting her eyes back at her, but the person who was holding the shield up
Is
was
looking
not
at
holding
her.
it above.
Yeah,
So
they're-
she's making eye contact with both the shield and the person?
She's making eye contact with the shield. The person is making eye contact with her.
Okay, so if one of us climbs up on her and theoretically blocks her vision with a mirror, that should also unstatue the person that's across from her because she would no longer be making eye contact with that person.
However, as you have, yes, so, but as long as she is still making eye contact with herself, then she will remain stone.
And that's the whole point about holding the mirror up in front of her face. Like, if someone were to climb up on her stoned body, sit on her shoulders, and then hold Ian Fear's little makeup mirror in front of her face, we'd be good until we have a method of setting the shield back up to reflect her gaze.
Or, the other option is I could go back up to the doors and go let Kimrin and her friend know, and they can come help us keep her secure while we go check more of this area out.
True, but we'll still need a way of permanently affixing some kind of reflective device in front of her eyes so that we can all get out.
Yes, that is the problem, is it not? We must find a way to unpetrify the night, but also maintain the petrification gaze of the Medusa upon herself.
If only there were a way we could just, I don't know, dismember the head off the Medusa. I don't know of anything that we would have that could break stone.
Not I. The problem here is that one false move, and that Medusa could unpetrify and kill us all.
So create an image of an object. It needs to be larger than a 5-foot cube. Create sound, light, and smell. So, I'm wondering something. So, I have one of my cantrips is minor illusion, but the main thing is it says the image can't create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect.
Okay.
Here, I'll link it in chat. So if I were to try to create, I couldn't really create a illusion of this mirror shield.
That is a good question. Because it doesn't say anything about... It can't create light, but it doesn't say anything about reflecting light.
Well, it says it can't create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect. So I'm assuming it can't maintain the properties of showing the image back from a mirror. Physical... I mean, I guess I'll leave that up to you.
As a DM, my answer to you is that you can certainly try.
All right.
The best answers.
So I'm gonna motion towards the others to sort of stay behind the Medusa just in case. And I'm gonna say I've got an idea. I'm gonna try. But I would recommend be ready just in case it doesn't. In case things go pear-shaped. And then I will attempt minor illusion to create uh, 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 a standing mirror that's right directly in front of the Medusa.
This is a cantrip, so that happens. The mirror appears just before the Medusa. Tess, you can see that it does actually cast a reflection of the Medusa. However, the Medusa immediately becomes flesh once again.
I'll dispel the mirror.
Tycon, it's not working. It's the shield. The shield has to be it.
Seeing her reflection in the shield, she immediately becomes stone once more.
Close call.
Yeah. Well, it was a thought.
Strange old stories told me that they only had to see themselves to turn into flesh, but I guess that to turn into stone, but I guess that this shield has some kind of magic property.
Well, what about the knight? Did I see if the knight also turned back to flesh when the
Yes.
Medusa did?
Yes, you did obscure the vision of the knight on Medusa, which caused the knight to momentarily become flesh once again.
Could we cover the knight's eyes? I just want to put my hand over the knight's face so that he can't, like, look at her.
Before you do that, we should make sure that the knight does not move that shield.
That's a good point.
Maybe from where I'm standing, I can try to hold his arm and the shield in place so that way he doesn't move it. I might need a bit of assistant Valphalin to keep it held steady.
Valphalin walks over. As you kind of handle the shield, it feels loose. It feels like you may be able to remove it from the arm. Also, this shield is warm to the touch. It does appear that it may have some sort of magical property.
Perhaps one of us, the grip on the shield seems to be loose enough that we might be able to take the shield out. Perhaps one of us could attempt to lift the shield to protect the knight's gaze and keep it, how would I describe this? Keep it so it's facing the Medusa, but protecting her gaze from going into anyone else's.
Yeah, what if we put a blindfold on this person?
Yes, I agree with that. Well, yes, that's what we're talking about. Basically, Ahara is talking about covering their eyes, but we also need to be able to remove the shield in case this person becomes flesh and immediately moves the shield.
Well, yeah, but then one of us can just pick the shield up and then hold it.
Well, if the shield drops from the thing, she comes to flesh. Whereas if we just
Well, yeah,
cover
I
the
get
knight's
that,
eyes,
but there's still a reaction time. Like, I would imagine, like, we would have time to still pick up the shield.
You can certainly try.
I would say, Valphalin, you, I assume, have held on to your fair share of shields.
Indeed.
You might be best equipped to wield this shield properly to protect us from the Medusa's gaze if we need to get it off this night quickly.
I will.
Just put your hand on the shield and brace just in case. So, like, at least if the person drops, you're still holding the shield up in place.
Valphalin clamps his hand over the lower portion of the shield and unstraps it from the arm of the knight. Holding the shield exactly in place, he moves exactly 5 feet forward and in front of the statue where he now holds the shield, in front of his face and before the Medusa. Success.
And the knight?
The knight now staring into the back of Valphalin's, back. You start to see the stone chip away very quickly, and the knight becomes flesh once again. They fall to the floor. Thank you.
What are you doing here?
I need a moment. I was after the treasure. And in my... Well, obviously. If there's a magic door, there must be treasure beyond it.
I don't disagree.
But then I was attacked by this... oh, fuck. This thing.
Who are you?
I never generated a name for this person. I am Kimbera Iskalon. And you are?
We are the heroes of Bunavar.
Well, I owe you my life.
So we couldn't help but notice you have a key
Oh.
with you.
Yes, the key. Take it, by all means. I am quite done with this place. She removes the key from her neck and hands it over to you. Now, I would very much like to take my leave, if you please, and head back to Bunavar.
We'll look to, like, Valphalin and them.
Valphalin is focused.
We're gonna need some... Oh.
She stows her weapon, stands
Yeah,
up, and kind of dusts herself off. She's sweating.
Well, before you go, can you tell us, have you been through any of the other places?
Any of the other places?
Through the other doors in here?
No, only the entryway. I found my way to this obelisk here near the tundra, and there was a strange door, something about a gentleman, I recall, and so I figured out that if I offered for my reflection to go first, it would let me through, and I made my way down here where I was accosted by this horrible creature.
I was gonna say, what kind of weapon do I see her carrying since she stowed it away?
She has a mace.
Quick question before you go. Do you think you might be able to help us attempt to knock the head of this creature off while it's currently in its stone skin form?
She looks around at the rest of you, and then looks down at her mace and goes, "Oh, if you don't mind, sir, I'd prefer not to come near the monster, but you're welcome to my weapon." And she removes her weapon and produces it to you. Anything, you saved my life. If all that costs me is a mace and I can be along my way, then very well.
Um, I suppose.
Mace and my shield.
Yeah, I suppose so. Tess, Ahara, anyone have any sort of skill with a mace?
I carry a mace with me usually. I can give it a try.
Balphalin says, "It likely would not take much skill, more than strength. It is not as though the Medusa can dodge."
Well, Tess, maybe you would like to try attack to try to knock the Medusa's head off from the rest of her body.
So would this be a roll for advantage because they're in stone?
That is correct.
Okay. I'll give it a try.
You'll probably have to get up close to do it, but yeah.
Tess gets a running start and she runs up and jumps in the air and like swing better, and then hits the Medusa head as hard as she can.
Some of the snake-like appendages on the head seem to crack and crumble and fall to the floor, where they once again become flesh, and they are dead. Very dead. Almost.
Okay, so we gave her a haircut, but
Anyone else want to give it a try, or should I go ahead and go again?
I think you are the most equipped to do this for us. Oh.
Coming from the other side this time, you take a whack at this Medusa. The stone form shifts slightly.
Uh-oh.
I'm not quite sure this is gonna work. We can give it one more go if you guys are confident.
Let me see.
If you miss, then be prepared for a fight.
Sensory effect. Chill warmth. Material you make a color.
How small do the belts on that that mirror shield tighten? Could I possibly tie them to like a really strong quarterstaff stuck in the ground so that we can lift a mirror up in front of her permanently and just leave a weapon behind?
You could probably find some way to affix it.
Okay. I have a quarterstaff. I can try my best to mount it in place in, say, the tile floor right in front of her.
Balphalin, still holding the shield, says, "I have a lance. You may take it and thrust it into the ground."
That would certainly help if you can fix the shield tightly enough.
Okay. Tess takes Valphalin's lance and with all her strength, she jabs it into the tile. Is this a strength check?
This is a strength check. Kimbra starts to move off. May I please take my leave of this place?
Yes, I would recommend heading out, and I would also recommend.
That's a save.
We've got. I was gonna say I'm gonna see if I could try to assist Tess to give her advantage.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you're gonna do that, let me re-roll that.
Yeah, re-roll that with advantage.
I also have a hunting trap that we could maybe stick it in to have legs.
Oh yeah, that
Ooh.
would clamp onto it.
Yeah, it would. That would likely work. So you could probably do a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. By the way, you rolled a strength save with. Can you roll a strength check with
Which one is the
advantage?
check?
So
Check is the one that's the numbers that are on the very side.
So on the side on your abilities, click on the word strength.
My abilities.
So on the
So the
very
ones that would
side
actually have
where
the-
it says strength and it has the number and then the ability modifier where it says strength, along the very far left side of your character sheet where it says strength, number,
our
dexterity,
base
number,
stats are.
number,
Yeah, that's what I
constitution.
clicked.
Well, it says you click strength save in the.
There we go. Yeah,
There we go.
perfect.
Okay, so yeah, 15.
So yeah, you guys are able to drive that into the floor. and it feels relatively sturdy.
And so, as I say, if you need to make your way, go ahead. Please, we have Kim Rim among some others who are studying outside. Give them notice of the situation, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Yes. Thank you again. I owe you my life. If you are ever in Bunavar, anything else that I can do? I'm leaving now. And she exits the vicinity.
All right. Let's see if we can see. I'll say, okay, Valfalion, we have it firmly stuck to the ground. Let's see if we can get this shield affixed, and hopefully keep the Medusa's gaze.
Valphalin very carefully... That's still a save. Why is that a save?
Maybe it's...
See? That's what I'm saying.
That is weird.
Click the one on the top left and it said save.
And then I clicked it again and it said...
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Anyway.
because you can have advantage, or you can have the added bonus on saving throws.
You know,
And so that's what it does.
I clicked on the same word, dexterity, both times that time, and the first time it did save, and the second time it did
Yeah, the first one is a save. That's what happened to me.
That's
the first
weird.
one was save, and then the second one was just a strength check.
Either way, Valphalin very carefully moves the shield into position around the lance and holds it in place. Now, if one of you could please kindly affix this to the lance.
All right. So when Valphalin starts to slip his hand from underneath one of the straps, once it's out, I will tighten the strap around the lance.
Oh, he didn't put his arm through it. He was holding it on either
Oh,
side.
he was holding it?
Yeah, he was just
All right.
holding it.
Yeah, so I'll tighten the straps around the lance.
Okay.
Tess will hold it in place while he does that too, or she'll help hold it in place.
These guys kind of turn the shield, and you attach these straps to the handle of this lance where it can sit and hang, and it seems to work. She is still making eye contact with the shield, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You now have the key and are free to explore the rest of the area.
Well, I am going to go over... I'm going to use the key up at this first set of doors, the big ones.
So as you turn the key... the door simply creaks open, revealing a large fireplace against the back wall, and a table in front.
Let's take a look around.
Otherwise, the room seems pretty empty.
All right. We'll go ahead and head over this way. We'll try the small door over here.
Again, the key shifts into place, and you turn the lock. It clicks, and the door once again opens. One moment, please.
All right. Seems to be...
I'm just going to investigate this room that I'm in a little bit closer.
So I'm going to look through them. I'm going to call back. It seems to be a hallway of some kind.
Tess, roll an investigation check, please. As you're investigating the room, you notice the glint of metal inside the fireplace. Or what looks to be metal. Something shiny is in there.
Tess will walk up and kind of lean over and take a closer look at it.
It seems to be some sort of colored and shiny material. It's very dusty. You can notice there's a small bit where the dust is kind of clear and it looks shiny. It is buried beneath ash and soot and
Tess leans over and blows air at it to try and get a closer look at it before she touches it.
ooh, it's like a vibrant blue color.
Ooh, shiny. Tess picks it up.
As you place your hand into the soot, some of these like chunks of ash and other debris shift away, and it reveals a small pile of gems. They appear to be sapphire.
Ooh,
Ooh.
shiny, shiny.
Tess will load up her bag real quick.
There are 5
Right.
of them.
She
Uh,
takes all 5.
All right, is this, I assume, a door I'm at right here?
Yes, there is a door in front of you, and here, and there is a door here. Can you guys not see the way the doors? Let me see your screen.
So basically, the way it looks like, I can see there's a bit of an opening between these sort of squares at the end of the tile.
Okay, but it doesn't look like there's like a wood door there. I wonder if I need to like
No.
redo that piece. Okay, I'll keep that in mind for next time.
I mean, it's probably just because they're, yeah.
It's the way I built that layer. I get it. I know what's going on.
All right, so I will try this. Actually, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to try this doorway.
That one doesn't even have a key. It just opens up.
Okay.
1 moment, please. What you're looking at appears to be a large tub of some kind that is filled with a murky liquid.
Oh, that's definitely the hot tub.
Gross.
Yeah, it smells really nasty in here. Very moldy kind of scent.
All right, what about the door up here?
Locked tight.
I'll try the key.
The key doesn't do it.
Okay, so I'm going to call back. This key doesn't seem to work in here. We may need to find something else.
What about over here? Tess calls. I think she's next to a door.
Yes, you're next to a door. Let me see it.
Oh, yeah. All right, yeah, I'll
it's
try
the- Yeah, that's
come over.
that's not it. I need to redo that. But okay.
So I saw when we passed Valphalin, I saw the frame of a wooden door, but
Yeah, that is correct. That is a wooden door right there.
all right. So yeah, I'll try the key at this door over here.
So the key shifts into place, and you turn it, and it clicks. It is unlocked.
We'll try the door.
As you open up the door, a gout of cold blows forward in your direction, all starting from this, all emanating from this very strange statue at the end of the hallway. Can you please roll a dexterity save, please?
Dexterity save. That should be.
That also goes for you, Tess, Ahara, and Talos.
Was it dexterity?
Yes, dexterity saves, please.
Let's see about this. Give me a sec. Attack roll, ability check, or you said this is a save?
Yeah, this is a save. I know Talos does not have a save for dexterity, I don't
All right,
believe.
I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos to turn this into a roll with advantage.
Okay. Nice. So we have an 11 from Talos. We have a 21 from Ian Fear, a 9 from Tess. Was that
And
it?
a 14 from Ahara.
And a 14 from Ahara. Cool. So Tess. Tess, you take 10 cold damage.
Ooh.
I'll just cure myself.
All who failed takes half. I mean, all who
You mean all
passed
who
take half,
succeeded?
yes.
Yeah.
All who succeeded take half.
Touched myself and healed myself.
Why is it only showing the one bar on my character now?
The one bar? What do you mean?
For health, normally there should be a second one that, or should be on the token,
Yeah. What about it?
because it should have one that's not just for health, but for, well, before it had one for health and then one for AC and
Try it
stuff
again.
like that. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they got disabled. Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should have tried to check for traps. Is there anything else after that blast of cold?
Just an empty hallway with a statue at the end of it.
Okay. Ooh, wow.
And it turns around to the left.
Well, I was also gonna say, I guess we can go a little longer tonight.
Do you guys want to cut here, or do you want to finish this last room?
I don't have anything else to do.
I guess we can finish the last room.
Are you okay with that? She nodded. Okay.
All right. So this, oh, the hallway turned to the left. Okay. All right. Well, I'll let them know. Hey, the hallway is going further down.
Valphalin follows you.
Tess will go in after Val.
I assume this is a door right here then.
Yes, that is a door.
All right. I'll try the key on the lock.
The key works.
All right. I'll open the door.
Why is that not working? Hello? There we go. Wait. Yeah, that did it. Cool. So what you're
Easy
looking...
chair.
Yeah, as you look in there, you see an easy chair and looks like the foot of maybe a bed? And there was a small table over here.
Well, I'll search the table, see if there's anything of note in there.
As you open up the table, there is a drawer on the little end table there, or on the side table. It contains some gold and various gems.
Okay.
Let's call that... let's call that 50. Perfect. Gold. Do the thing. Do it. Do it. It's having trouble. There we go. You find 78 gold, and let's see. Oop, let's see. Actually, yeah. 2 sapphire. 1 emerald. And 4 platinum pieces.
Ooh, this person was loaded.
Yeah, there was a lot of money in that.
I assume this was the Gorgon
Seems to be.
or the Medusa,
Yeah, seems to be.
and 4 platinum pieces.
What's this other surface down in the bottom of the room?
Small fireplace.
Can I look in there and see if there's anything interesting?
You sift through. Oh, well, you know what? Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Not super investigative.
However, in digging through the ash and the soot, you find what seems to be a piece of paper. Seems to be mostly burned. It has some writing on it.
I was gonna say before we go, is there a key on the Medusa?
No.
Okay. I mean, I guess, Ahara, it's up to you to determine if you want to see if you can read the writing, or if you want to hand it to me and I'll see if I can read it.
But is it a writing I recognize?
Let me find out.
Druid, Elvish, Goblin, Orc.
No, it's not.
All right. Well,
Ianfir, would you like to read this piece of paper?
all right. I'll see what I can do.
What languages do you know?
Well, I also have my magic. You remember my
Oh, yes,
finger
okay.
glasses?
Okay, so you make finger glasses at the letter, and most of it seems to have burned away. However, this looks to have a date on it, and it says something to the extent of, "Lost my key again. Not sure where I might have misplaced it. I've only ever been here for so long."
Was this another fireplace over here?
Yes, that is another fireplace.
Can I search that one too?
Investigation check.
Maybe someone should go dig in the hot tub, I say aloud.
Ew, 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 ew. It's gonna be so nasty in there.
Said this is a statue, right?
Yeah, that is a statue. It produced the blast of cold that
Can I
went through the
investigate
doorway.
it just to see if there's anything like in its mouth or whatever?
Actually, its eyes seem to have what look like they might be gems. They may be removable. But it's equally possible you could also trigger the trap by doing so.
I'd like to investigate it further. Eyes. Kind of tap on the eyes a little bit, but not remove them.
Sure, you tap on the eyes. Doesn't seem to do anything.
It doesn't sound hollow on the inside.
No, it doesn't sound hollow.
I guess standing off to the side of it, she reaches over and tries to pry out one of the eyes.
With your hands?
With a cloak over her hands. Her cape.
Won't budge. You're probably going to need some kind of tool. Maybe a knife or... Ianfir, as you approach the tub, it stinks. It's, as you peer into it, the surface of the water seems to have like an algae that is floating in there. As well, the entire inside of the tub, around a foot down, is caked with algae.
Ooh. Someone needs to clean their pool. I feel I need disinfectant just walking in here. I'm gonna try to see if I can search around the area, try to find a key or something.
Constitution save, please.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, well, thankfully for that. Come on. Come on. Load up.
Yeah, mine was having trouble with it too.
It might not. Just try it again. Wow. Okay, why is it not? Oh, that's why.
Ahara, in the among the ash and other things that are in that fireplace, you actually find a small bundle of arrows. Strange.
I'm just going to hold on to these and
They're-
put them in my bag.
They are warm to the touch.
Nice.
So, I had a +5, but that makes it 6.
So, guys, from down the hall, you hear. In fear? You've yacked all over yourself.
Is everything all right back here?
Well, hang on. Don't. Hang on a minute. I need to make myself presentable. I'm going to use prestidigitation to clean off my sick.
Create one of the following instance harmless sensory effect, shower, sparks, puffle, wind.
You can clean yourself.
Oh,
You instantaneously clean or soil an object no larger than
one cubic foot. So you're able to clean 1 cubic foot of your clothing, the vomit from your clothing.
Well, luckily it is a cantrip, so
Oh yes, so you can just keep doing it.
yeah.
So you're going to spend the next while cleaning yourself.
Do you need someone to shape water? Because I can't do that.
I can clean myself, but I can't search this area. It is. Oh my god.
Allow me to try. That is a Constitution check. I'm going with it. Constitution check. I totally nailed it. Valphalin just reaches right into the water, feels around a little bit, and produces a key.
Oh god.
I
Is
guess
this
it's
the
true what they
artifact
say
of which
about
we seek?
Dragonborn.
And what is it that they say about Dragonborn?
You know, that you got strong stomachs or something.
With the key found, let's go ahead and call it right here. We'll come back next time and see what's in this room. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, this is your most benevolent DM signing off. Keep a song in your heart.